Dylan Schneider, good to see you.
Good to see you, brother.
Now, if I'm, as we sit here in mid November, if I do the math correctly, I think it's been 7 months since you and I are together in Toronto. Uh,
Yep.
your record label had you up in the city, and it was really cool because that was my first exposure to Dylan Schneider. And I got to tell you, I liked what I saw and I liked what I heard. And so it's nice to be able to introduce our audience to your music if they haven't found it already. Most importantly, though, to let our audience know you're going to be in Toronto soon for a show.
Yep. I'm excited. The Horseshoe. I've been hearing so much good stuff about it. I heard it's one of them iconic ones that, all the big people have played over the years. And it's my first, actual, ticketed, headlining show, besides the one we got to hang out at, a few months ago. But, for real, having fans out doing a big old thing in Toronto, it's going to be special.
You're right. The Horseshoe Tavern is an absolutely iconic Toronto and, for that matter, Canadian venue. And you're right. A lot of the big ones have played their legendary stories like the Rolling Stones and this act and that act. And it's your turn on November 26th.
I know it's crazy, man. We got to do the Troubadour in LA as well this tour, and the night before Motley Crue was headlining, just like
Really?
their old days. They did a whole Sunset Boulevard tour, and I was like, dude, I'm standing right here where these legends have stood. So it's going to be the same thing there. The Rolling Stones. That's crazy.
Right on. The Bad Decisions tour is going to be at the Horseshoe Tavern on November 26th, about a week and a half from now. Dylan Schneider is here, and I'd like to move things back in the Dylan Schneider story to um, when you got this whole country thing going, because you're no different than most others. You liked a variety of music when you were young, but what was it that pulled you towards country as a format?
Yeah, dude, that's a great question. Because I grew up listening to rock, pop, anything that was on, like modern pop radio was always playing when we were in the car. And then as well as some hip hop. And around the time I transitioned into middle school, and I was probably 12, 13, 14 years old, I started meeting a lot of new kids because there was three schools that merged into one. I was hanging out with this group, and they were playing a lot of that 2010 to 2015 country music, like FGL just coming out, Luke Bryan, Jason Aldean, and then there was Brett Eldredge, who, I'm from Indiana. He's from about 25 minutes over the Indiana-Illinois border. And my grandma had mutual friends with his family, and she got his first record and played it for me and told me all about him. And I saw he was having success down in Nashville, and then he got his big first number one with Don't Ya, and then Beat of the Music came out. And I was obsessed with that record, and I was like, man, somebody from where I'm from is doing this. Maybe I could do it too. So I got a acoustic guitar that year for Christmas, and I remember my parents had to give it to me 3 days early because Brett came back to Paris, Illinois, on December 22nd, I think, and it was supposed to be like my big Christmas present. And I wanted to get it signed, and they were like, "Well, we got you this guitar. Just have it 3 days early. Take it. Go have him sign it." And he told me to play it till my fingers bleed, and he believed in me. And that was just a really, really, inspirational, monumental moment for me. And he's since then, followed along and supported my stuff, and just here and there checks in, which is really cool. But that was the thing that got me into falling in love with the genre. I loved where the modern sound was kind of changing, and with all my influences, it was just really, really nice to the ear. And I was like, man, I want to do stuff like this.
That's so neat to hear the story. And you getting the guitar signed, is that the evening that I read about where you actually got pulled up on stage by Brett to do a song?
Dude, so that was a year later,
Okay.
and I had seen him once after that. It was in the summer of, I want to say maybe June of that year. And my grandma had taken me to go see the Keith Urban concert, and Brett was opening up first of three. I think it was him, Jared Neiman, and Keith. And I went back, got to do the quick, little meet and greet, say hello, get a poster sign. And he remembered me then. And then fast forward, shoot, it might have been a year later, actually, after that. Because I think the first time it was December of 2013. Then I saw him again 2014 summer. And then 2015 was when I turned 16, and he was playing in Terre Haute, my hometown. at the Indiana State University arena the night before my 16th birthday, and I waited in line for like 2.5 hours to get right on the front of the stage. And I took a sign, and it was like, "My 16th birthday's tomorrow. I want to get up. I want to sing with you." And he saw it, and he like nodded at me, and then he goes, "I met a kid a couple years ago. I know what it's like to have that dream, want to get up on stage, and I've been that kid. So I'm gonna give him that opportunity." And I just jumped up on stage, and we started playing a song, and he holds the mic in front of my hand. I just ripped it out of his hand, just went to the front of the stage and took it over a little bit. And it was the coolest night of my life, man. Like that was one of the peaks and one of the most special memories I'll ever have. But
What was the song?
along that way, it was a cool story. And then I got to open up for him in Des Moines, Iowa for the fair over there about a year later than that. So
Huh?
it's like just climbing the ladder.
So cool. Now, again, when he hauled you up there on stage, what song was it?
So it was the first song on his first album called "Tell Me Where to Park,"
No.
and I don't know if a lot of people are super familiar with it, but it's funny. As soon as he held the mic in front of my hand, he's like, "Oh, we still got time, but the moon runs out to find what these hearts are beating about." And he went like that, and I was like, in my head, I'm like, "What are the words? What are the words?" And then as soon as he did it, I'm like, "So let's go!" And I just jumped up and like got like split second, it came right back into my head, and then they went off stage. They came out and did an encore of "Don't Ya," and then he played his song "Signs" as well off that first record, which is all
Cool.
about Paris, Illinois, his hometown.
I don't
Which was pretty cool, dude. It was so cool. Like for being a 15-year-old kid, just going on 16, like that was a dream come true.
I'll bet, and I don't want to make it entirely about Eldredge, but I think you're a big enough fan that you won't mind one more point.
Yeah.
There's a song he's got that I love, and I also don't think this was a massive hit, and it's not that old. You know the song Sunday Drive?
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. When I had that played for me for the first time, I thought this just feels to me like a song the world should hear.
Yeah, no, I know, dude. It's beautiful, man, and I love how he always connects his hometown back to his music, and I like how he's transitioning into doing that style of what he likes to do.
Good.
I think he's very satisfied with the success he's had in the career, and I like how he just has fun with it.
Yeah, right on. Dylan Schneider is here. Now let's turn to your music for a moment because at the end of September, you put out a record of your own. Congrats on the release of Puzzled.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It's been a long time coming.
Now, I find the title of the record intriguing. 16 tracks are packed on this. Why is it called Puzzled? What does that mean?
Yeah, dude. When we first kind of came up with the idea that we wanted to do a record this year, I sat down with some of the label people and my management, and they're like, "What do you want the theme of this to be? What do you want to say? This and that." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. That's always easier said than done to encapsulate, all this music that you've had over the last few years to exactly a theme or what you want it to be known as." And I said, "Man, I don't know. I guess just I want to, kind of shed a light on a little bit of the growth that I've had as a creator, as a writer over the last few years. My career, trying to navigate that and figure out the right moves to make, and as well as relationship problems I've had over the few years. Like I've been in some good ones, some bad ones. I've had some family stuff go on, and I was like, it's been like growing pains. I guess is what I was trying to like kind of sum it up. It was growing pains through the years of being, back and forth from Indiana to Nashville, everything like that. But in the meantime, of the growing pains, there was a lot of optimism and there was a lot of like belief and like keep going. And I didn't know how to sum that up really. And then one day I was playing a festival called Boots in the Park. I played one in Albuquerque and then one in Scottsdale, Arizona. And the first night, I think it was me and Thomas Rhett and then Chris Young. The next night we did me, Kane Brown, Palmer Lee. It was really cool. But every night they gave us these gift baskets. And the first night it was a puzzle and it had the picture of Thomas, and then it had like the all the names of the poster of who was on the festival. And I was like, dude, that's super cool. Didn't think anything of it at first. Next day I get another puzzle, but this time it's just the picture of me on the big thing. And I was like, oh, that's sick. I'm a puzzle. I was like, my mom loves puzzles. I'll give this to her. She's going to love it. And then I had a light bulb moment. And I said, wait a second. I was like, not only would that be a sick album cover to make this album cover a puzzle, I was like, I want the picture that would be the album cover to be a real puzzle being put together on a table with like whiskey around it, like a lighter, just kind of things that have been distractions, things that go crazy, in my life. A guitar, we had a guitar in the background, but we kind of zoomed it in a little bit. I don't think you can see it.
No.
And the good things, the bad things, all that stuff with the building blocks. And yeah, I just came up with that whole idea of that. Kind of sums up what I'm saying. Over the past few years, I've been trying to put this puzzle of my career and my life together, and some pieces have fit, some pieces haven't. I've lost some of the pieces I'm still looking for, and it just kind of made that all make sense with one little, word.
And you kind of made the title make sense with that explanation. That's really neat. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't get to all 16 tracks on the record, but the songs I heard on the record, bouncing here and there, grabbing a few titles, there's a real diversity of sounds on the record. For example, you got Carhartt, which is such a cool song. It's fun. I think the lyrics are incredibly clever. And then you got Mama's House, which is a song you wrote that Dustin Lynch brought to life, which I think really showcases your songwriting well. And then there's Daddy Drinks Whiskey, which
Yes,
is
sir.
such a compelling song to me. And I was kind of drawn to that one. Tell me about it.
Yeah, dude, that one is one of the ones where I get a little bit more vulnerable finally for the first time. I wanted to share some of my, personal life story, my family stuff, as I mentioned. And it was a song I wrote back in like 2021 that had been sitting around, and I finally got it off my chest. Finally wrote this idea I'd had forever, but I hadn't shared it yet. And with the new album, I knew that it was a good time to shed light on some of those things. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of tell my story of like what my life and my family life had been like over the last few years. There's been difficulties, struggles, and I know that a lot of people go through that, seeing family members, loved ones go through, drinking too much, substance abuse, kind of any type of addiction, and all you want to do is help the person, but can't really figure out how. And I knew that it's been something that had been on my mind, and I just wanted to, I guess with my platform, let people know that it's okay to talk about it. And I think getting it off your chest is like very freeing, because sometimes it can be a embarrassing, a difficult, topic to bring up or address. But the second you do, it takes weight off your shoulders, So that's what I did, and I hope that with that song, I allowed people to know that they're not alone and they can do it too,
Yeah, it probably takes a weight off your shoulders, and it also allows others the space and the oxygen to do the same, so good on you for being that vulnerable. And again, it's one of the 16 tracks on the new record called Puzzled. The Bad Decisions Tour is going to be in Toronto at the Horseshoe on November 26th. Tell our audience, when they show up there, what's a Dylan Schneider show all about?
Dude, from day one, it's always been about the energy. I'm gonna bring it. I hope I get it back, and that just makes me bring it more. This tour has just been so fun because there's so much new music, so many new songs, something fresh and new to look forward to, And obviously, this is my first headlining show in Toronto, so you guys are gonna enjoy it. And there's a little bit of a up and down in it. There's a little bit of heartbreak. There's a little bit of fun. There's finally a well-roundedness of a full-length set that I'm, very, very satisfied with and been proud of so far. So I can't wait for you guys to hear it.
Right on, November 26th, Dylan Schneider. I got a taste of this back in April when we were all together last, and I had a riot with you, man. Holy smokes. I've done a lot of fun stuff in 2024. Not much of it was more fun than being with Dylan Schneider, and the fact our audience is going to be able to do the same on the 26th. Right on. Where do people get tickets and find you on social?
Dude, you can go to DylanSchneiderMusic.com. We got the tour link there, all the links to all the social medias. It's Dylan Schneider Music on Instagram and Facebook, at Dylan Schneider on TikTok, at Dylan Schneider on Twitter. And dude, I just can't wait, man. Go get your tickets. It's going to be so fun, and I hope we pack out the Horseshoe.
Right on. The album Puzzled is available anywhere people buy tunes. Dylan, I'm going to see you on the 26th. I'm going to go to bed early tonight to start to get ready.
Let's go, man. That sounds good. Thank you so much, brother.